I needed good players to win the tournament, but nobody would give me the time of day. I used to have a great championship squad. I spent every dollar I had building that team, but right before the tournament, they all jumped to my rival. Rocky had already won the tournament 7 years in a row, and he made me an offer. Just get with him, and he would walk away from this year's title. I was disgusted, so he went and poached every single one of my players. I had no choice but to hit the streets looking for new ones. I finally spotted a young player who caught my eye, but his handles were all flash and he could not hit a shot. An older man nearby called him out in front of everyone.
I'm trash. I don't stink as bad as that.
The young guy fired back and called him just an old man. But Uncle Drew did not get mad. He challenged the kid on the spot. Everyone on the sideline figured he was joking, but Uncle Drew actually put his right to stay on the court on the line. Uncle Drew shuffled slowly onto the court. He could barely get a dribble going. The young guy stole it and finished the layup easy. I sat on the sideline just shaking my head, but Uncle Drew called for next basket wins it all. The young guy figured he already had this, but Uncle Drew suddenly burst out with speed nobody saw coming. He went through the legs back to back and left the kid completely lost. Then he drove and finished the layup for 2. The whole crowd erupted, but Uncle Drew was not done. The defender was pressing him as hard as he could, but Uncle Drew still pulled up and drained a deep 3. I stood on the sideline with my jaw on the floor. This old man who could barely walk just proved to everyone who the real street legend was. I ran after Uncle Drew right away and asked to recruit him, but he turned me down on the spot. I watched him destroy that young kid with my own eyes, but Uncle Drew did not believe I was there for basketball. He was convinced I only wanted to use his look to make money, so I brought up the Rucker tournament. That line actually stopped him cold. Uncle Drew finally started taking my offer serious, but right then he laid out one condition that was not up for debate.
It's gotta be my team. My boys.
I had barely put this team together myself. There was no way I was handing the roster to a man I just met. But Uncle Drew heard that and walked. The only man who could win this for me was about to disappear. I panicked and gave in right there. I figured I had finally locked down my strongest player, but Uncle Drew turned around and told me to drive to DC. The first man he wanted was a pastor who played power forward. The pastor did not look reliable at all. He nearly used the baby in his arms as a basketball for a dunk. I caught it just in time, but the next second I ended up going into the baptismal pool instead. Uncle Drew had no intention of saving me. Then the pastor pushed me under the water hard. Fortunately, Uncle Drew did not let me stay under for long. After that, Drew told the pastor what we came for. The pastor agreed without thinking twice. The pastor had barely gotten in the car before we were off after the next shooter. We then found the last player, but he was sitting in a wheelchair and not moving at all. That was when I found out he had been paralyzed for 500 years.